Folks, a very good morning and welcome to FYI. If our technicians are on duty, let us know how you folks are doing. The system don't want us to be great this morning, guys. The system don't want us to be great. We hope that you folks are well wherever you all are joining us. Thank you for your patience out there. The system just don't want us to be great. But we're happy that each and every one of you are here with us. We hope that you guys are well on this Friday. It's Friday, believe it or not. It is Friday, believe it or not. Folks, the folks there in Bartica, I'm coming to Bartica on Saturday, tomorrow, and I'm looking forward to seeing all of you folks. We're going to be on the ground in Bartica, talking with party reps. In the main, this is the Alliance for Change in particular. We're going to be talking with some of our party representatives there in particular, but taking some time also to meet with you guys on the ground and to see how you folks are doing. I'm looking forward to seeing those of you who join us from Bartica. I'm really looking forward to seeing you folks. So if you are there in Bartica and you see me on the ground tomorrow, please come and say hello, say hi. You know, you could have a differing political view. It doesn't bother we one bit. Don't bother us. So if you're in Bartica, you know, I want to see my Bartica folks. Sheila Boyd Child, Yolanda Thomas, Claudia, and all the others joining us. Thank you guys for joining us this morning. Gloria Skinner is here as well, and Shorna Fortune. All the other folks who are joining us, good to see you folks, whether you're joining us on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, TikTok, wherever you're joining us from. You're joining us on the Tube. Our Tube family. We want to say good to you. Bernie Milner and all the other folks. Bernie is joining us from BIM, from Barbados. Good to have you, Bernie. Bernie Miller. Good to have you. And John, too, joining us. Selena Fraser is joining us. Selena is joining us from Canada. Yep, way up north. Clarexis Charmley Richmond in the diaspora as well, joining us. We see Jennifer Griffith. Folks, thanks for being patient with us this morning. Alana Tang, Port Kaituma. The system won't allow us to be great. Alana, the system don't want us to be great. But we're happy that you folks are with us this morning. We're fired up and we are ready to go. And we trust that you guys are as well. You all know your boy went in Bartica yesterday. You know, we've been saying all week long we're going to Bartica. Suddenly they run to Bartica. Yeah. Your boy who said he took a flight back. And I wish every Guyanese could have the ease of transportation like that. We took a flight back. You know, went to Exxon last week in that speedboat. You know, when you're going, you know if you're coming out, that's where you ain't going. Me mind the rest of us going. That speedboat ride to Supernam was something else. The speedboat ride, Dolly, Laverne, Angel, Edward, that speedboat ride to Supernam was something else. Back and forth. You know, it was prayer every step of the way. Kept rehearsing in my head that hymn, Nearer My God to Thee. Only the real old school Christians can know that one. Them now come believers would know that. That's the one I kept humming. You know, that boat do some things. Nearer My God to Thee. That's the one I kept humming all the time. Gwyneth Jones joining us from Suriname. Good to have you, Gwyneth, and all the other folks. Folks, you ever had a moment like that in one of those speedboats when you start, you know, say, Father, I know if I can make to this when I confess all my sins. Forgive me for all my trespasses. Yep, as I forgive those who trespass against me. Yeah. So we're in Bartica. I think Ricky is going to be with me. MP Ricky Rams. So look out for us. A couple of us going to be on the ground in Bartica. Engage. We want to talk to you. Tracy, Mullery, and Trisha Adams. Good to have you. Trisha says, glory and praise to God. Amen. Amen, my sister. Amen to that. You know, but them boys went to Bartica. Them boys went yesterday. We flew back. Wish we had it like you. We flew back, you know. But Barticians want to know how come you got some roads there that ain't lasting No particular time politics. Some roads in Bartica, Donna McDonald, Marjorie Baburam, Jennifer Griffith, some roads there. Where are my folks in Bartica? Remind me which part of Bartica is this, folks? Remind me, which part of Bartica is this? Remind us, which part of Bartica is this? Remind us. Please and thank you. All right? Remind us. Let me see if you all really know Bartica. All right? Again, the folks said this road was completed in just 2 months ago. The road was completed just 2 months ago, and it is already falling apart. As you can see from the pictures, already falling apart. That's Bartica. Then talk about that, when they're under the pretext they're going to give out some contracts to 10-day workers, they should be ashamed of themselves. And I was looking back this morning, what these folks, Edward Jacob says is 3 miles. Yep. Folks, if you got family there, let them know we coming. Let them know we coming to Bartica. I want to see some of them. Oh no, I want to see some of them. Right? I want to see some of them. Right? Here's story here. Remchal Mangal says I thief out NCN money. Now this is thing for slander libel. Right? Ramchan Mangal says thief out NCN money. Now I've never worked a day at NCN. Never worked a day at NCN. Ramchan says thief out NCN money. You see that slander libel right there. If you bother with some of them. Ramchan, get his story right and come again. Ramchan, Mangal, get his story right. Now, if you start with that I thief out NCN money, I can't believe nothing else you're saying. But typical PPP propaganda. But we happy you were here, Ramchan. We sending you some warmth and cyber hugs. I even would share some more coffee with you, I won't share my coffee. Let me take that back, because usually when people taste my tea, they want to go home. I want the fit for you, Ramchan. I want the fit for you. Right? Ramchan said he fought NCN money. The contractor clearly here in Bartica, he found this money because the roads are falling apart. This substandard work, we cannot accept it, and we will not accept it. And no matter how much folks like our brother, like Ramchan, huffs and puffs, we will not accept this kind of substandard work. Your boy BJ missed all of this yesterday. He missed all of this yesterday when he was down there at Bartica. Run ahead of us trying to make you sell something. Run ahead of us trying to make you sell something. Better know what you're doing. You see? Better know what you're doing. Just let you know, them boys not easy. Them boys not easy at all. Folks, let's talk about some of the things. Let's turn our attention to some of the other things that occupying our attention this morning. Let us turn our attention to some of those things. We got a lot of ground to cover, and we simply delighted that you folks are here with us. So there's that bit that we're following, folks, that Ramchan didn't seem to like too much. What's going down? 3 Mile in Bartica. Can I circle back there? There is that. We're following. We got to get good work. Value for dollar. Right? That's what we need. Value for dollar. Donna McDonald, you agree? Outfront Parts, you agree? Jennifer Griffith, value for money spent, This is one of the other things we're seeing this morning as we are heading to the morning papers. City flooded again. One of the things the deputy mayor was pointing out, Alfred Mentor, is that contractors, disposing of builders' waste inappropriately. And he was on the ground yesterday, Alfred Mentor, the deputy mayor, and he pointed out, with cameras and so on, the builders' waste clogging up city drains now. People ain't gonna hold their friends, family, and favorites accountable. No, but they're going to point a blame at City Hall, you see. They're quick to point a blame at City Hall. This is what we're seeing. Sadly, this is what we are seeing. Very sadly. You see? So those are some of the things, folks, that we're following. That's just one. You know, that's just one of the other things we're following. City flooded again, little rainfall. Again, this is the kind of vindictiveness we see out in the administration, starving the city of much needed funds. Then telling the friends and family and favorite to pay up the taxes, though. Right? Those are things you don't hear and you don't see. You don't hear and you don't. They're not telling them, pay up your taxes. You see, so we can have a better city. They're not saying that. So that's one of the other things we're following this morning. And interestingly enough, as we are heading to the morning papers, we saw the former Minister of Communities. Now, to talk about former Minister Ronald Balkan, an honorable gentleman, and Nigel Damelard in the same sentence, is like blasphemy. It's like blasphemy. Right? Absolute blasphemy. And one of the things Balkan was saying is that them boys should be ashamed of themselves. In this letter to the editor, should be ashamed of themselves, you know, for challenging the decision of the court, right? In that Exxon Mobil case, they should be out here wanting to protect Guyanese. They should be out here, okay, wanting to make sure that life and limb protected, given any adverse effects from what's happening out there, all that drilling. You see, the fish don't run away. Something more catastrophic happened. We could be affected. You know, and to see former minister rather, Balkan out there, and he, you know, many starts knowing who vex. This is madness here. You know, he said it's shameful and anti-national. I was trying to capture those words, referring to my notes now. Shameful and anti-national. That's what he said. That's what he said. You know, these are folks who promise again to renegotiate the production sharing agreement of 2016. That was a promise. They have done absolutely nothing in that regard. Now they come out fighting with taxpayers' dollars to defend Exxon Mobil. And as a matter of fact, I want to give a little correction. It's not a letter to the editor. It's a whole article that Kaitro News has picked upon. It says former Minister of Communities Ronald Balkan has condemned the move by the EPA to appeal the recent High Court Judge Sandil Kissoon regarding the oil spill insurance. Properness. And it's in this morning's Kaitro News. I dare say it's in this morning Kaitro News. So more power to you, Minister Balkan. More power to you. This was an honorable gentleman. There are lots and lots of work to bring this whole local government system that was out of whack since 1994. Could you imagine? We didn't have any local government election. Now, they're flying about the country, Jagdio and co, behaving as though they got some great love for local government elections. 20 years, they had a ballot cast and local government. And if you give them the opportunity, they won't have one cast national neither. They're trying to be like China and Russia, one party state, but not here. Not here. Very admirable to see Foreign Minister on the Balkan adding his voice to the discussion. It seemed to, on some of the protest activity, boots on the ground, and he's adding his voice to the conversation. More of us got to do that. More of us, good folk, more of us has got to do that. Add our voices to this conversation. Put our boots on the ground as well. And it was something else last evening to hear, your boy Jack, you're abusing out and carrying on the judge. And the judge used loose words. Folks, y'all believe this boy is easy? The judge used loose words. That's what the fellow said. Loose words. Castigating the judge for his decision. Yeah. Very dangerous territory. Very dangerous territory. For you who didn't get a chance to see it last evening, those who didn't get a chance to see that last evening, folks, take a look. Take a look at that and take a listen. Some of what the old boy said. Jack Vio, what he said last night on this very issue. Take a look and take a listen.
The judgment, we believe, was unfair in its description of the EPA as a decrepit agency that had abdicated its responsibility. They don't know the hard work of the staff of the EPA and the technical people, what work has been done over the past year and a half on this issue. So to be so judgmental, with loose language in a judgment, basically disparages the efforts of tons of professionals who have worked at this agency diligently to ensure that this assurance is given. And even before the judgment came out, I said right here that they had already settled on the amount and the language, and they were waiting on the approval from the partners, the co-venturers, to move to the signing. This was even before the judgment. Now but there, as we pointed out, there is nothing called in an insurance world an unlimited assurance policy. The judgment, we believe, was unfair in its description of the EPA as a decrepit agency that had abdicated its responsibility. They don't know the hard work of the staff of the EPA and the technical people, what work has been done over the past year and a half on this issue. So to be so judgmental, with loose language in a judgment, basically disparages the efforts of tons of professionals who have worked at this agency diligently to ensure that this assurance is given. And even before the judgment came out, I said right here that they had already settled on the amount and the language, and they were waiting on the approval from the partners, the co-venturers, to move to the signing. This was even before the judgment. Now but there, as we pointed out, there is nothing called in an insurance world an unlimited assurance policy. The judgment.
Yep. So that's some of what we saw from that exchange yesterday. The judge, language loose, he in here. I said we can come up with a figure. We go with this judgment. How dare him, the judge, castigate? How dare him castigate the EPA, the Environmental Protection Agency? How dare him? How dare him? Glenford Gordon, how dare him, Annette? Brenda Moore, Jennifer Griffith, how dare him, the judge? He don't know how hard them people walk over, sir. The late nights. He should take that into consideration. Pollyanna Schultz is mouth foolish. I tell you what Pollyanna says. Folks, let's move on to some of the things we're covering in the papers this morning. Let's move on to some of those things we are covering. You know, the big should not be had at Fairfield. That big should not be had at Fairfield. Big shooting up. Yes, Fairfield. What do you think we're telling you? Fairfield, big shooting up they had. Well, the police said they have seized 3 guns belonging to the suspect. Land dispute issue, we told you about that yesterday, I think it was. Big shooting up, you know. It says who you know and who know you in this country. Friends, family, and favorites. I guess it's three more guns off the street. You know, until when? Until when? That's the question. Until when? Three guns off the street. Right? That's one of the things we're following, folks. Man found dead, tied up. This region 9, under the Takatu Bridge. He was propped up on the concrete structure. Right? These are things should detain us as a nation, trying to figure out how do we mitigate these crimes. No. Our time must be spent abusing out the judge. Loose language. Right? Somebody pointed out, just as we ended the program last night, you know, John William think it was loose language with the COI. The presidential COI, they didn't think it was loose language. All that they said about Mingo and Myers and Lowenfield, he didn't think it was loose language. Right? He didn't know how hard them people worked. That thankless job. He didn't know that. He didn't know it was loose language then. Running now. These are the things that should detain us. How crime is just spiraling out there. See? Unabated. And this, you know, as Annette Ferguson said of Claudette, so too Robeson, she should pick up her bag, push in her seat and go home. Robeson as well. Pick up his bag, push in his seat and go home. Go home. What a waste. Pick up your bag, push in your seat. Ingrid Crawford. Gwyneth Anderson says Satan disowned that you is not a child. Disowned. So that's one of the other things we're following. This, what's happening there with this murder at the Chakatu Bridge. Right? And then could you imagine the speaker, you know, bill comes to discuss the same judgment, not a bill, motion. That Justice Sandil Kisoon judgment. Bill comes to discuss that. He said it's not of much of importance, public importance. John Glasgow, can you imagine that? Out front parts, Chandel Jerrick. Jerrick is usually good people. I hope Chandel follows suit. Bernadette Patricia Miller, Jennifer Griffith, so true Hector. There's Hector. Right? He said that bill that says to them, look, stop this nonsense, but appealing this matter. The judge was right. Speaker says it's not of public importance. But Ghana said that is because he in the pockets of the PPP. That is why he believes that. Because he's in the pockets. I'm telling you what MP Mahipaul says. He feels that way because he in the pockets. Now, those are some very, very strong, persuasive arguments. I mean, like, where's he come back from there? Right? And here, our colleague articulate this issue at a press conference of the PNCR just yesterday, right? I think there's a brief period of silence. It's not going to be your phone during this video. So if you hear, you see Ganesh is speaking, but you're not hearing anything. That's how the audio was recorded. And we apologize for that. So don't start lashing up your phone. You know, if you got, you know, like you got a big back TV, you know, you just have to hit the TV back. You will start to clear it up. Guys, it's different. The mounted televisions took a beating in this country. Hit the back. WhatsApps. See that? Even as Guyanese, how we use song to send a message. WhatsApps. Right? Here's MP Mahipaul talking about that in a press conference yesterday. Take a look, tickets.
For Guyana to grow, the PPP must go. It's very simple as that. But let me take the opportunity at this point in time, Madam Sessional Chair, to speak a little bit about what transpired yesterday in the National Assembly. I believe the Speaker has confirmed with what the opposition has been saying, and that is he has confirmed that he is biased, and in addition, he has shown the nation that he is unpatriotic. The standing orders of the National Assembly allows any member to bring a motion on the definite urgent public importance. And that is what I did. And I submitted that motion at 7 p.m. or thereabout the night before the sitting, which is well within the time frame for submission. Because there is a time frame, even though it says definite urgent public importance, it must reach the Speaker 4 hours before the sitting of the Assembly. And there were many motions under definite urgent public importance that were submitted to the Speaker. And what he did in previous times was allow the member who's bringing the motion to stand and make his case as to why it should satisfy definite urgent public importance. Our leader, Comrade Aubrey Norton, I remember brought a motion before, or 2 motions before, under the same standing order, and he was given the opportunity to expand a little bit to make his case as to why it should be heard, after which the Speaker will make his ruling. And of course, his ruling was to disallow. But the point I'm making is that on those occasions, he allowed the member to articulate his reasons as to why the motion should be heard. I remember that I brought a motion before under this very standing order also, and he gave me that opportunity to speak on it, to just build that case as to why it should be heard. Of course, when he ruled that it wasn't urgent or definite. I remember bringing one on. It was urgent or of definite public importance. This particular occasion, I wasn't even given an opportunity to be heard. When the Speaker spoke in the National Assembly, as is recorded and all over the internet, he simply said that he received the motion, and then he said he took note that the case was filed, and on that basis, the motion will not be heard. I stood in the House and on about 5 occasions attempted to get his attention to seek some clarity, and he did not entertain me. And I was the mover of the motion. So what he did there yesterday was to show me and show the nation how biased he is. And by not accepting this motion as an urgent, definite public importance, knowing that it is all over the country and even outside of this country, this matter is being discussed. Because if there should ever be an oil spill, it will not only affect Guyana, it will affect Suriname, it will affect probably as far as French Guyana, it will affect Trinidad, it will affect the Caribbean, it will affect probably as far as the United States. And it is a matter without any doubt, urgent, definite public importance. I want to point out to the media that sometime back, we filed a matter in court with reference to the suspension of the 8 members of parliament. And we submitted that matter to the court, and we did not receive a date for the hearing of the matter, nor did we receive, nor did we know if there were judges assigned to the case. When the matter came up in Parliament, the suspension of the 8 MPs, a motion from Gail Teixeira, we stood and we objected for it not to proceed with on the basis of it being sub judice, meaning that it is being entertained in the court and should not be discussed elsewhere. The Speaker ruled that the sub judice rule has to be interpreted. And this man went and quoted precedents from this parliament, the other parliament, and all over. It's in the hand. And he said that because a date was not assigned for the hearing of the matter, and because a judge was not assigned to the matter, he cannot fit it within the criteria of sub judice. And on that basis, the motion will be proceeded with. That was Gail Teixeira's motion on the suspension of the 8 MPs. Here you have a motion where a case was filed, but there was no judge assigned to the case. There was no date given for the hearing. It was simply a matter of filing, and the Speaker didn't even budge to even consider his ruling in the previous motion. The Speaker of the National Assembly has basically confirmed that he is biased. He has confirmed that he is unpatriotic by not allowing that motion. It goes to show that he is in the pocket of the People's Progressive Party. It goes to show that he is not willing to uphold the sanctity of the National Assembly, the place where we are supposed to meet, that he is supposed to be neutral and ensure that the guidelines of the parliament is followed without taking a side. At no time was Raphael Trotman ever like how this Manzoor Nadir is. At no time was even Ralph Ramkaran, a card-bearing PPP member, long-standing PPP member, been in the belly of the PPP for the longest while. At no time did he behave like Manzoor Nadir, who's a stepchild of the PPP. It is very shameful, it is disgraceful, it is worrying, and it is a breakdown of the guardrails of our democracy, and it is something that is very unfortunate. Many may ask, then why are you still in the National Assembly with this type of behavior from the Speaker? But I want the public to know that at the end of the day, what is recorded in the Hansards of the National Assembly is saved there for posterity. And it comes back very handy as time proceeds. And it also adds to our act of communication with other parliamentary associations and other parliamentary related organizations. I can say without a doubt that we intend to write all the associated parliamentary organizations on the Speaker's behavior again. We will add to the number of letters we already have written. This one, I believe, is even deeper because he has shown it clearer how associated he is with the People's Progressive Party. Like I said earlier, stepchild wanting to show that he is a child there in the PPP. And we will also examine, at least we will have to meet to discuss this further. But my personal position is that the time is right for a no confidence motion against the Speaker of the National Assembly.
Yep. Can't add anything to what MP Ganesh Mahipaul has said there. In the pockets, stepchild of the PPP. Agreed, MP Mahipaul. Stepchild. He behaving as though he born and bred there. But that's how they got to work for the keep, you know. That is how they got to work for the keep. That is how they got to work for the keep. Yep. See, Sharon Castillo Edwards says, beat and teach. Folks, let's turn our attention quickly. Running through some stuff now. We're following internationally. They say they have a vaccine for one of the deadliest forms of cancer. You know, scientists have been working hard, and they said no, they now have a vaccine. All right, and here is what some of what they're saying, that this new vaccine is designed to treat pancreatic cancer, and from the research they've done, they've seen the disease was prevented from returning in 50% of the patients who received it, according to scientists. And we picking this news up from Insider. That's the name of the publication. And they say pancreatic cancer is notoriously hard to detect and treat. It is widely known as a silent disease because symptoms, including abdominal pain and weight loss, often don't arise until the cancer cells have spread to blood vessels and tissues, which at which point treatment is difficult. Weight loss, pancreatic cancer. The folks said they found a vaccine though, and they've seen that in 50% of patients in which this vaccine has been applied to, the cancer does not return. Right? And Jennifer Griffith said it best: all cancers are sad. All cancers are sad. That's one of the things we're picking up on. Look what else we're following internationally. Russia, they're saying to Americans, those of you Christians, of course, too, they want to build a village in Russia for conservative Americans. You know, they said the Calston, Biden, and so on, and pro-Trump. You know, they want to build a village. Yeah. They want to build a village. You know, she said, let me see if I capture this right. They said they started rather, or it is slated for construction, yes, in the suburbs of Mexico in 2024. Conservative Americans, you fed up with Biden and so on. You want Biden, go back and so. Fed up with the US, we got house here for you. Folks, we got house here for you, right? I you know, some of it glad if America got something like that. You know, you can see the ad right now. Fed up with Jack you and have fun. Come live with us. Fed up with them. Come live with us. Russia building a whole tongue. You know, you're fed up of Biden and them. Come run by we. You know, if you like your autocracy and your dictatorship and so on, move in next door. That's what people say. Believe it or not. Believe it or not. Part of what we're following this morning. Yep. Well, it's trouble in Italy now. Folks, trouble in Italy. The folks said that the pasta price going up. Yeah. Big meeting. big meeting. No, pasta going up. That's like doubles in Trinidad. How are you going to do that? You know, we eat anything here. We do concern. We might raise the eyebrow if Chinese food price go. You go to buy a nice chicken fried rice, here's 3,000. Like we got to change this government. 3,000. Then you can see story. That's what's happening there. You know, Italy calls a crisis meeting over surging pasta prices. Yeah. You can see this war in Ukraine come to end. You can see it come to end now. You see? Now this war come to end. Surging pasta prices. Critical meeting call. Folks, scientists have noticed a huge explosion in outer space. They said it's the largest cosmic explosion, going by the headline. This is 10 times brighter than a supernova. Folks, just take it from us. A supernova is really bright. We won't get into the technical terms, right? This is like if you put Dr. Adams to sit down next to Jack Deo. And issues of oil and gas. It's that kind of brightness you can see from Dr. Adams, right? Beyond supernova bright, right? Dr. Adams Jack, you look like a 30-watt bulb. Right? Not even an LED. 30-watt bulb. Not even an LED. Right? Not even an LED bulb. See some people still on the pastor. People say, pastor, now stop coming in barrel and so on. Pastor in them barrel are expensive. Y'all bet you know. Margaret said, pastor in them barrel, no special. People send you pastor, especially pastor from Italy. So the folks are watching this phenomenon here, right? Big explosion, monkeypox. The international health authorities are telling us it has been the public health emergency has been declared over. Monkeypox. The public health emergency. Yep. You know the one case we've had here, folks said was a misdiagnosis too. Folks who know the fella said he always had the bumps on his skin, always had it. The whole life. If you said monkeypox, isolated one time. And we learned that they were too ashamed, to reveal that they're a misdiagnosis. But misdiagnosis is never new. I was reading in one of the publications this morning, a young lady locally who suffers from lupus. Folks, so many things we read when the day comes. We wish her all the best. But one of the things she said in that she was misdiagnosed twice. Hinting on the misdiagnosis. She was misdiagnosed twice. Could you imagine had she not persevered? You gone on treating something that you don't really got. Misdiagnosed. She was talking about how her life has changed and trying to empower others who are suffering from the same kind of disease, lupus. She said 3 times, I think she said. She was misdiagnosed. Van Classic says, Frank got to go. For Guyana to grow. The PPP got to go. Thank you, MP Ganesh Mahipaul. That's what she said she saw. 3 misdiagnoses. She persevered, and then finally, somebody like Dr. Vincent Adams, who actually knew what they were talking about. That's such an indictment. People's lives are at risk. I had a friend, true story. He lives with Sarkozy now. Not like actually housemate. President Sarkozy, former president. That's like the actual house. Lives in France now. He said he went to see a doctor one time. He said it was around 12:15. As he walking in the office, the man writing the prescription. There. This is right. This is consultation fee. This is the thing. This is the prescription. He walking in the office. He didn't explain yet. See, the doctor was heading out to lunch. Asher, Gwyneth, Carol, Jennifer, Faye. So the man was good. The doctor was going to lunch. As he's walking in, the man is writing a prescription for him. So this is a problem, right? Smallpox, filaria. This is Guyana. So they've ended the smallpox health emergency declaration. Joy and Margaret, y'all come here. And I'm certain your blood pressure goes way down with all the laughter inadvertently. We don't come here to make jokes, It just happens because of the kind of issues we have to come. Y'all should send us something. Say, look, Duncan, you hold this. This is why we're spending medication for my blood pressure. This is why we're spending medication for, right? And we have that too this morning because they're telling us that I think Paho, is it Paho? As we turn to regional news, got some information on hypertension. This is why we're spending hypertension. What's the medication they use for hypertension? I'm not quite there yet. I'm not quite there yet. Right? What's the medication? We turn our attention to some of the things we're tracking regionally. Yeah, Paho calls for improved management of hypertension. And this is in the Caribbean. we cover a lot of news. We follow a lot of news media in the region, and so we pick up on it, right? I don't know if times past was easy sailing with politics in the Caribbean, but I think we're a little off the rails now. It's every man for himself in CARICOM. You understand why they left Haiti by itself? It's every island for himself. But you know, David Rudder, who had a fantastic 70th birthday concert, 7.0, recently, in that anthem, he sung for cricket that became the anthem for the region, Rally Around the West Indies. There's a line in there when he says, in a divided world that don't need islands no more. He was singing about us. He knew that. He's a prophet. Right? A lyricist extraordinaire. He's a prophet. In a divided world that don't need islands no more. Rally around the West Indies. You see? That's what he said. We divisive as we ever were. Pan American Health Organization said hypertension. They can take enough for we out. You see? Take enough for we out. Look across the other side of the aisle in Parliament. I say, you promise? Power, you promise? Some of them are signing up the pressure this nation, you know. Signing up the pressure this nation. But I believe in do unto them before they do unto you. We got to sign up their pressure first. Margaret, we see you there. We see you there. Andrew and Lynn Finance and all the other folks. We see you. Watch your hypertension, eh? Right? Enaprilil. Hope I'm pronouncing that right. Whatever the medication is. I used to know the name of that medication. In former life, I used to be a pharmacy tech. I see you, Lynn Finance, calling the name of the tablet. Is it enaprilil? Am I calling it right? It's something funny. Like I'm saying one thing, but I'm deserting something else. Right? The hypertension medication. That's what them boys want to be, hooked up on something. Who says we got to take stock. Improve management of hypertension is in the region. This is what they've noticed, people blood pressure going up. Right? I said send up their blood pressure, Lynn Finance, before they send up for you. Send up their blood pressure. Haiti, I ain't tell you all, Haiti left by itself. Here's what UNICEF saying about Haiti. This is the aspect of the UN that deals with children. UNICEF says 100,000 Haitian kids at risk of starving. You see what I'm telling you? You see what I'm telling you? The food board, that's alone eat at the place that they see with Papa Jagabat. The food here alone eat could feed all them children in Haiti. 100,000 children in Haiti at risk of starving. Right? This should haunt us. In the 21st century, we've never been wealthier as a people, I think, universally, but so poor all at the same time. So God, if, you got artificial intelligence could write your homework for you, compose music, find cures for illnesses and so on, why 100,000 people starving? Why 100,000 children got to be starving? Those problems can be fixed, but we don't have the political will to do it because we're too flippin' selfish now. This across the region, every man for himself. We're too selfish, much too selfish. Right? Well, your boy down there in Antigua, we're Antiguans. They're telling us he felt he and Angela Bassett, the actress, Black Panther actress Angela Bassett, she had some agreement that she'd be a tourism ambassador for them. Angela Bassett apparently stayed at some resort in Antigua. Had some brief conversation with them or something. Then on every billboard, well, Angela Bassett, her people, her reps wrote to them from a very prestigious law firm internationally. Is it Rothschild LLC? And we said, take me out of your story. We never had no agreement. That's what she said. We never had no agreement. We began speaking. They run ahead. They run ahead as well. And they print up a set of things and say, she will we come to Antigua. She will here is where I stay. Got the lady face and a set of billboards and so on. That's what they tell us. Right? Well, Yolanda calling out a whole set of blood pressure medication. Lacetan, right? Amphetamine. Look, story. The whole cabinet situated we. The whole Melson press. You remember that? Not medicine press. The Melson. The whole Melson press. Situated with chest. Well, y'all boy from Antigua, he might need some hypertension medication because this is a real embarrassment. I'm telling y'all, Angela Bassett lawyers wrote to them. Cease and desist. The letter said, cease and desist. Well, just crime. You know, crime. A 12-year-old shot in her head, right? A toddler, 3 years old, escape a hail of gunfire. Which Caribbean country? Make a guess. Deliberately left it out so we can ask you that. Which Caribbean country? Which? Make a guess. 12-year-old shot in her head. 3-year-old, they say, escaped a hail of gunfire. You know, the parents weren't so lucky. Give you a clue. 12-year-old girl, they tell us, is fighting for her life in a hospital after being shot in the head by gunmen who stormed her Claxton Bay home, killed her mother and her mother's boyfriend shortly after midnight yesterday. But is this morning, early this morning? Shot her in her head, hail of gunfire. The mother and her boyfriend dead. The mother and the boyfriend dead. See if you all know your jurisdiction. Yep. All right. Folks saying Belize, Maureen, correct. Linfordance, correct. Trinidad and Tobago, shot in the head. You know, they gotta really see with crime there and here. Trinis, by y'all and by we. By y'all and by we. You know when people start speaking up against crime? When they take land on their doorstep. Like it did with Lara recently. When it land on your doorstep. Right? Then thoughts and prayers with the family nonetheless. Thoughts and prayers. Relational politics in the region. Bermuda had some of their regional corporations, their municipal regional corporations had elections. They got some new folks going in there in Bermuda. You know, local government, municipal elections, they got a cooperation system, much like Trinidad. They got some new folks coming in, you know, in the Hamilton Corporation and the St. George's. You know, they got some new folks coming in and who are going to try to impact the system positively. In Jamaica, you had some senators resigning. You have 2 new senators coming in, right? Apka Henley is one of them coming in, and Dr. Dana Dixon. 2 of them resigned. Prime Minister thanked them for their service. And so just like there in Bermuda, they coming in and see if they can make a difference. You know, they come in to see if they can make a difference. Good luck to them on that front. And then in the 592, all manner of things, you know, he wants Neil Marx to be president of the GTU so that Neil Marx can be an Irfan Ali, a puppet. That's what he wants. So he's been wading into this election has gone on several times, no big fuss. You see, but they want to control everything. Folks, Rico Lewis, Magnell Barrow, out front parts. If you decide, right, You want a little cleanup committee in your street, they can come for try to take it over. Everything they want control. I'm telling you that. You know, in your workplace, you might got a little Bible club or so on. Whatever other club you might have. Right? They will try to infiltrate and take it over. They ain't concerned. Ain't got nothing to do with them. But that's the spirit they got. And if they can't take over, they broke down and they dismantle. Right? So they've been wading into that. Oh, GPA must ensure accountability. These are people who had dead signatures, the signatures of dead people on their nomination form, you know. Yes, they're coming out for lecture the Journalists Association. Right? They come to lecture them. Yeah. The Ghana Press Association. They come to lecture them. Oh, they must have accountability and transparency and fair elections. The same people who telling you to get signatures of dead people that we all agree are dead off of their forms. You got to do an elections petition after local government election. They're talking about accountability and transparency. Same fella. You know? Who go call Budu the one thief for seat to get them the majority? They tell us. You know, in one of the elections passed. From the party who Janet Choli quote right over her shoulder. Accountability and transparency. Same folks. Bare-faced. Bare-faced. Let the journalists in our country decide who is best for them. Who looking after their interests. Neil Marx just come back, running behind the forest daily everywhere, elsewhere. You know? Yet on taxpayers' money, say he's studying something overseas. And he won't run. I would say that a little bit, man. Take the dust off of, what the country name? The Arab Emirates. Off your shoe. You know? Take the dust off your shoe. And then see, you just land. Right? Ian Van Arpel, he's studying, you know, on a government scholarship studying. But he was the first lady in Van Arpel. You know, he with them in Bahrain. He with them in, what's the favorite place, man? Let's go for boarding, sir. Dubai. He with them in Dubai. Right? They don't go places like Haiti, sir. Right? Just land back. I'll sit down a little bit, man. Shucks. Take over spirit. That's them. Take over spirit. Elan. That being said, your boy going to court today, suspecting the gruesome murder of Corinne Mars. You got a court, they must in the court right now. Thoughts and prayers with the Mars family. Thoughts and prayers with the Mars family right now. In that opposition press conference yesterday, a number of issues were raised. A number of issues. One of the important ones, I heard Elson Lowe, economist Elson Lowe raised. You know, Jandria likes to refer to him as the economist who's not an economist. How stupid. How stupid. That's like he. Because he's dealing with everything else but economy. He wants to position himself like he's a czar in oil and gas. But then who is Dr. Vincent Adams? He must be Caesar. But economist Elson Lowe reminded us yesterday of that Exxon Mobil audit. They still haven't released it officially. They still have not released that officially. That's on the wraps. But thanks to Starbucks News, we learned that millions of dollars have been unaccounted for. And that was one of the things that Elson Lowe reminded us of yesterday. Right? He said, where the money there? Where the money there? Right? I think $200 and something million. $200 and something million. Where the money there? Folks, take a look and take a listen.
It is important that we keep the issue of the missing 214 million US from Guyana's first audit of offshore oil expenses in the media, in the attention of the Guyanese people. Yes, it's important that we keep that issue at the forefront of the Guyanese people's minds. We've said, and the government has known these funds are able to be recovered from the first audit. We've said over and over that it should be a criminal offense to be hiding these types of monies, and that the government should have come out a long time now and indicated that this was available and that efforts would be made to recover these monies. In addition, though, we want to help the Guyanese people to understand that, given that this audit has been leaked to the media and that we've been able to see commentary from former Auditor General Rand, that we've been able to look at some of the issues here. What one would think government that is aware of the data issues that came out of that audit would do is to conduct a comprehensive review of those data issues, to make public that review, and to make public what it intends to do about those data issues. Now, we've also said that these types of issues and these audits need to be discussed in the National Assembly, and that would be a great forum for us to deal properly with these data issues. But you're only going to do something like that if you, first of all, want to audit the oil and gas companies, and second of all, if you have the interests of the Guyanese people at heart. If you don't particularly care, then you first of all hide the results of audits, and second of all, you won't address or you won't take substantial measures. You won't engage in any proper discussion around addressing these types of data issues. And so that is where we find ourselves right now with 214 million US. I need the balance for the first audit. For the second audit, if we see similar issues, it could be as much, nearly $1 billion US, really, that could be in question. And it seems that because the government has not undertaken to improve this process and deal with it comprehensively, this is going to be a recurring theme. And so, as we've said again and again, this is really an issue that every Guyanese must pay attention to, because over the course of the life of the oil and gas industry, you could be looking at tens of billions of US at stake here that could either be lost or find itself in the hands that it should not be in. So that's the first thing that we have to say around that 214 million US. The second question you ask, I think, is also quite a vital one, which is that as the government again looks to spend from the NRF, the question of whether those funds are going to be used for political purposes rather than the detriment of the people of Guyana. We recall that there's been complaints that the stipend that is for part-time workers that is being paid, that those same part-time workers are being pressured to either attend PVP events or to even walk in the PVP, the parades that they have around local government election, that people are being pressured to be involved in those types of activities. We again want to stress that these monies belong to the people of Guyana, and people should not be being pressured to engage in political activity in order to benefit from those monies. But more than that, that this is really symptomatic of an attitude the PVP has, which is where they want to give Guyanese a few francs and try to compel them to support the government rather than doing things that are in the best interest, both in the short and long term, of people. And so we have proposed and said that it shouldn't just be that people are being provided with a part-time job that can't even, you can't survive on that, but rather that we should see people being provided stipends so that they can engage in training activities, and so that really people will be able to improve their lives. That's why we have our 50 for 50 program, $50,000 a month for 50,000 people for training, student stipends for training. We're not just here to use people. We're not just here to try and force people to support us and pressure people. We want what is best for the Guyanese people, and that's why our programs build towards a better future for Guyanese. It is important.
Yep. Folks, in that very press conference, finally, before we let you guys go, in that very press conference, the chairman of the PNCR, People's National Congress Reform, said how we are welcoming of the visit by the European Union delegation who are coming to see how far we've gone with electoral reform. You know, they had a report after the last general and regional elections. Well, them boys only like it then. Now when it comes time to implement some of those measures, they're running. You know, they don't want to implement those measures. Now when it comes time to implement, them boys are having it. Them boys and having it at all. And the chairman of the PNCR, our colleague Sherwin Holder, pointed that out. You know, and several of the very critical aspects of that report that we are very supportive of. You know, and like Sherwin, we're looking forward as well to engaging that team from the European Union. You know, yep, we're looking forward to that. Here is Chairman Sherwin Holder during that press conference out of the PNCR just yesterday. Take a look, folks, and take a listen.
The opposition has noted the presence in the country of the European Union's 2020 election observer mission follow-up team to assess whether progress has been made on electoral reforms in line with the recommendations of the European Union Observer Mission's final report on the 2020 Guyana elections. We welcome this EU initiative and stand ready to meet with the follow-up team to advance the agenda on electoral reforms. Electoral reforms in Guyana have become increasingly necessary as GCOM continues to shirk its constitutional responsibility to deliver credible elections and as the public's confidence in elections continues to erode. Preparations for the 2023 LG has amply demonstrated that the electoral process is still political manipulation, corruption, and fraud. They have further exposed an elections commission that has been politically hijacked, is poorly chaired, is administratively unfit, and is unaccountable to the people. We have reviewed the 26 recommendations made in the final report of the 2020 EU Election Observer Mission to Guyana. We fully endorse their objectives and believe if implemented in good faith, they can greatly improve elections in Guyana. In particular, we wish to highlight the recommendations on 1. Overhauling the composition and functioning of the Elections Commission through a national consultative process. 2. The need for a thorough update of the decade-old register well ahead of the next election cycle with a clean voters list. 3. The need for clear written procedures for the transmission and tabulation of election results, notably to ensure consistency of the process in all regions and adequate traceability of handed over electoral documents. 4. The mandatory publication of all GCOM decisions, regulatory instruments, and instructions. 5. The obligation for the Commission to regularly meet with stakeholders and the media to explain and account for all major decisions. 6. Prohibiting the use of state resources for political campaigning. 7. Establishing a comprehensive election dispute resolution system to ensure effective and timely remedies throughout all stages of the electoral process. In our expected meetings with the EU follow-up mission, we in the opposition intend to make the case for a clean voters list and the use of biometrics for voting. We remain skeptical that the current photo ID and verification process can reduce the risk of fraud inherent in a bloated voters list. We also intend to demonstrate where the recent amendments to ROPA are cosmetic and ineffectual. We look forward to working with the EU and all other stakeholders on electoral reforms.
Yep. MP Sherwin Holder and chairman of the People's National Congress Reform, laying it out for us, those very important points that we're supportive of, and looking forward and ready to engage the European delegation as we seek to move constitutional reform of GCOM in particular, forward. Got to move it forward. That's going to do it for us today, folks, until our next broadcast. Good to see you, Errol Squires and Cheryl Pancham. Mohan Singh, good to see you as well, Mohan. Good to see you as well. You might have negative energy, but we're not allowing that to us here. Joy Hopkinson, good to see you. Karen Bailey, great to see you as well. At least the trolls could say we create employment for them, because without our programming, they would have no job. Nothing to troll, So we're happy y'all are here completing your 40 hours per week? Is that it? Your 10 days. Your 10 days. You gotta make your money. The show's gotta make the money too. Who's gotta live? Show's gotta make the money. Yvonne Ramasan, Dolly and Faye, Commissioner Cole, Gloria Skinner. We're happy to be of service. Very happy. Gloria, Commissioner, Dolly, Yvonne, out front part. That's going to do it for us. Folks, stay safe out there. Stay safe. Stay woke. Watch for them, boys. Whatever you're running off to do, folks, we do it well. Stay safe. Cheryl and Ethelene and Yvonne, Donna, good to have you guys. Rhonda Joseph, Maxine Monroe, great to see you as well. Yvonne, Donna and Rhonda, good to see you folks. Stay safe, guys. Stay safe. That's my time today. That's our program.